Disclaimer. This is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. The story intentionally contains factual inaccuracies and absurdities as part of its artistic expression.
Well, no apples at the start of this video. All the dogs have gone to the spa for the day to get their hair cut. And maybe, hopefully, a little bit of treatment for Apples. Has put on a lot of weight since I was gone. But now that we're back, we're trying to get everything all organized. And I should mention that YouTube just recently, or the White House, the Masonic White House, recently announced that all the people who are taken off of YouTube for political reasons will be reinstated. Well, that's interesting because we've had numerous videos taken down recently. The most recent was one I didn't expect. It was very unexpected. And if you didn't see it, our last video we put out was with Miriam Heinen, the bee lady. And we just talked about consciousness, spirituality, health, all that kind of stuff. I didn't think that would get triggered, but it actually got like super triggered. Within minutes, we got a strike. Hi, Dollar Vigilante. It looks like Invasion of the Mind and Body Snatchers Reprogram Yourself and Become Limitless didn't follow community guidelines. To help keep our community safe, we removed it from YouTube. Oh, thanks. And it mentions, you can see an example at around the 109.23 mark. And then it says, your channel now has one strike. You won't be able to do things like upload, post, or live stream for 1 week. So that was interesting. The last video they took down, they said was for harassment. And I was talking about how the government's trying to kill everyone, which I guess is harassment against the government who's trying to kill everyone. And this time, so I looked at this one, the 109.23 second mark. Here's what I said.
And so doing the coffee enema and a sauna. And if you can't do the sauna, do some sort of exercise where you're sweating. Because what you want to do is sweat out that stuff and then get it out with the coffee enema as well.
Yeah, I said you can use saunas or heavy exercise where you sweat to sweat out toxins. And that is now medical misinformation again. After 5 years of being removed for my past medical misinformation of telling people not to inject themselves with poison, it is wild. Then right after that, got another email from YouTube. Oh, hi, Dollar Vigilante. To help keep our community safe. Oh, we got to keep that community safe. We limit some of our most powerful features to channels who have built and maintained a positive channel history. As of now, your channel doesn't have sufficient channel history. It has access to advanced features. It has lost access to advanced features. How this impacts your channel? You won't be able to do things like get higher daily limits, embed live streams, pin comments, add external links to your video descriptions. Yeah, this whole YouTube thing isn't working out for me. I see a lot of people are getting their channels back, but a lot of them haven't actually been posting on it, like Max Egan, who got his channel back, but he's like, I'm not posting there. And so that's pretty cool, but we do try to post everywhere we can, try to wake up normies. It was pretty funny because actually a few of our videos did get out and actually got a fair amount of views. One of the last ones on Charlie Kirk, the Charlie Kirk PSYOP, obviously. And I saw a comment in the comments on YouTube. Yeah, some normie stumbled across our channel somehow. They finally had access to our stuff. And apparently we're blowing his mind. Yeah, well, I guess you won't hear from us again for a while because we're banned again. but that does tend to happen when they let us speak to people who are normies. But there's been so much stuff going on with the Charlie Kirk stuff, so much more new evidence coming out. And of course, none of this is being talked about by the mainstream at all. Alex Jones has already moved on, already said it was radical leftists and trannies and all the agenda stuff. Moved on to the latest, the ICE shooting, which was another staged event, which I'm not even going to get into. It's just incredible, all this stuff. And now they've done a new one, a church bombing and shooting in the U.S., which looks all totally like an operation. Like, for example, the truck's got 2 American flags and it's got Iraqi plates on it. I don't know what they're trying to do there. I don't know if they're trying to say that like the guy was from Iraq and he drove to like Minnesota or wherever it was and blew up a church. But your average person in the U.S. would believe it. But so much new information, like I said, has been coming out. I hope I don't have to cover this too much more. I think this is pretty much case closed. It's an operation, obviously. But I'm going to put a lot more in this video, and hopefully I don't have to talk too much more about it. And it seems like the mainstream has kind of moved on from it anyway. And Turning Point USA has just gone on and got Erica Kirk running it now, and she's all smiles and giggles. But we'll get into some of the details. Like, for example, for the psychological operation part of things, the fake part, they said it was this guy named Tyler Robinson, who it couldn't be. There's no evidence of it. Like, zero. But it is interesting that they said he had the gun, he took a shot. There's no video of that. No one at the whole place got a video of that. Very interesting. Then there was this grainy footage of a guy who didn't have a shadow. It actually looked like a Sasquatch video. You know, nowadays with the 4K videos and everything, but just got this grainy Sasquatch looking video of a kid running across who actually loses his shadow along the way. No rifle, jumps down, runs into the woods, hides the rifle in the woods, disassembled it, reassembled. I know, it sounds stupid, but it's the craziest conspiracy theory I've ever heard. The government always puts out the craziest ones, the ones that aren't even possible. But very interesting that the place that they said that he dumped the gun was owned by, drumroll please, Palantir, of course.
To the scene in the wooded area where the firearm was discarded, and the firearm had a towel wrapped around it. It's important. I'll get back.
To criticize your former employer, it's taboo to do that. But to criticize an employer that also owns extremely lethal technologies and surveillance technologies that are highly invasive and used in war zones.
And there's been so many theories out there on who actually could have shot Charlie Kirk if he was actually shot. There's a theory that it was all a hologram, because it was a 10 by 10 tent and there was a projector behind him. I don't know about that one. That one I haven't seen enough evidence that that's actually the case. Could be though, could be. They've got lots of technology and who knows? Like I said, even in today's day and age, you can't trust any of these videos and stuff, but there's so many different angles and things that people have been finding out. And I don't know which one's the correct one, if any of them are correct. But it's interesting that there's so many of them. Like, this is what I said in my last video. It's like they put in like 10 different options for you to like choose. There's the CIA guy doing the thing, smiling. I'll get into that a bit more. But there's also right behind, or right to the side, was this like blacked out window with just this metal vent. And there seems to be a flash right at the moment that supposedly Charlie Kirk is shot.
Oh my God. Wait, Cody, go, run, run. Oh. Counting, we're not counting gang violence. Oh my God. Wait, Cody, go, run, run. Oh. Counting, we're not counting gang violence. Oh my God. Wait, Cody, go, run, run. Oh. Counting, we're not counting gang violence. Oh my God. Wait, Cody, go, run, run. Oh. Oh my God. Wait, Cody, go, run, run. Oh. Oh my God. Wait, Cody, go, run, run. Oh. Oh my God. Wait, Cody, go, run, run. Oh. Oh my God. Wait, Cody, go, run, run. Oh.
Yeah, that could be the thing. We'll never really know, though, because they've actually torn down everything, like everything, within a couple of weeks. Like, you know how slow things are in the U.S. with permits and, unions. And, this was a major, massive crime scene. And it's already been all torn down and everything, like, rebuilt all around it, including that area where, the grassy knoll area where possibly one of the shots might have come from. And you might recall in my last video, I showed that they released like a photo from a security camera. Gotta love this stuff. Of Tyler Robinson, I think before or after, I can't remember, the supposed him shooting, which is impossible. And he was apparently at a Dairy Queen. And behind him was a Superman poster. And then right after that, they started saying Charlie Kirk was the Man of Steel. He can stop a 30.0, it's about this big, by the way, so it's like the size of your neck. Going at hypersonic speed. It just got lodged in because he's got bones of steel, according to an anonymous surgeon in the mainstream media. But right behind him in this photo at the Dairy Queen was the Superman poster. And someone went there just recently to, go see if they could find any information. Anyone want to guess?
Just heard Dairy Queen is closed now. Yes, I was there yesterday. It was serving Superman blizzards 3 days ago, right? Now it's being torn down, right? And the recipe book for making, ice cream bars, dilly bars and so forth is still in the parking lot. So they haven't picked up the trash yet from 3 days when they took the place down. There's an Idaho trailer where they've shoved everything in as quickly as possible. They've just shoved it in, put the padlock on it. They're tearing it down as quickly as possible.
Well, we're at 1545. Is that a Dairy Queen sign? Interestingly enough, looks like it's been totally taken apart. Got cleaning mop buckets everywhere and so forth. And it's right across, by the way, from Brigham Young University, right across from the stadium, right? So my point is, there's the football stadium. There's cameras all over here. The FBI should be able to easily say what the path was for Robinson to get to the airport, or the Dodge Challenger. Should be flock cameras all along here. I just want the FBI to be honest with us.
That's pretty crazy. They threw in that he was at this Dairy Queen in front of a Superman poster, which I think was like an Easter egg for all of us out there with eyes to see and ears to hear. And not only did they tear down and rebuild already the entire area where supposedly this happened, but they also basically tore down the Dairy Queen. Like that, this is like insane. Like they're just getting rid of anything that you could actually look into. I'm sure Kash Patel's right on it though, right guys? Patriots in control. Oh, that's too bad. It's too bad they fall for all this stuff all the time. And then someone else started looking into Utah Valley School, whatever that school was. And numerous of the professors there were basically CIA people.
Hey guys, so this week I've been doing my own little off-piece Charlie Kirk investigation. Many of you guys have been following along. I've connected a lot of dots between the CIA, the LDS community, the Utah Valley University system, and academic centers in Israel, like the Jerusalem Center and Ariel University. I think I've kind of reached the end of my investigation, and also I'm kind of getting nervous. I couldn't sleep last night at all. But my main question now is, and I would like to turn it over to the authorities, Kash Patel, Donald Trump, this is kind of for you to answer now. There was a CIA professor at Utah Valley University, Rusty Needs. He was with the CNSS. I saw his bio, his photo, just a few days ago, like 2 days ago. I took this picture from the website. I got his bio, everything, and he has now like disappeared. I can't find it anywhere online. If anyone can find it, please let me know. I did have this, which is still on the Facebook page. Anyway, where is Rusty Needs? Hashtag where is Rusty Needs? The CIA agent that works at Utah Valley University. Why has he gone ghost online? Okay, what do you guys think? Comment below. Hey guys, okay, this is a follow-up to my video yesterday on Rusty Needs, the CIA professor at Utah Valley University whose profile has gone missing. Okay, I did this video yesterday and now AI is saying that these people don't exist. The 6 people that I named don't exist and it's all fiction. Does anybody know if any of these people are real people at Utah Valley University? Okay, so I used AI to search the Wayback Machine, and here are the dates and removals. So his profile was fully accessible on September 24th, 2025, but taken down between September 24th and September 26th. He looks to be the first taken down, followed by 6 others, also in the CNSS spy school or tied to Canvas security. These include Dr. Elena Vasquez, National Security Policy Whiz, Professor Mark Harlan, Counterintelligence Ethics Expert, Sarah Klein, Event Logistics Liaison, Jamal Reed, Track Coach with Security Ties, T. Ramirez, Intelligence Simulations Analyst, and L. Patel, Event Planning Coordinator.
Considering everyone around Charlie Kirk was like CIA, Mossad, and I mean everybody, and then bunch of the professors there were CIA. They've all been scrubbed now. The Dairy Queen he was at has been like scrubbed. The entire area has been scrubbed. But Tyler's, in jail. You never hear anything from him, of course. Doesn't seem to say a word or blink. And of course, his case number is, when you add up all the numbers, 33. And as I said in my last video, one of the weirder things is whenever there's a school shooting in the US, like the place gets locked down. Like for Sandy Hook's, there was like tanks coming in, and then they demolished the school, and actually there was no kids in that school. That's a whole other story. But anyway, Alex Jones doesn't talk about that anymore, but he kind of mentioned it at the beginning, and then everything seemed to change with him. Is that when he changed? Because something definitely changed. All of a sudden, he actually looks totally different in the last while, obviously with the shaved head and stuff. And then I don't know if, I think he's doing this because so much of his audience is starting to realize that he's clearly a CIA Mason sort of controlled opposition, and he's covering for all these false flags, psychological operations now, that he actually just decided to wear a Hitler mustache the other day.
The Hitler mustache, and it was very interesting. I could tell you it had a wild effect on women. I thought they were about to start throwing their panties at me.
Yeah, that'll get everyone talking about his Hitler-looking mustache instead of how he's clearly and obviously controlled opposition at this point. But as I was saying, whenever there's a school shooting in the US, it's like hundreds of emergency vehicles, all this, it's locked down. Basically, they shelter in place. And think about this one. It was at a school. A guy got clearly shot, well, looks like, shot in the neck. There was a crisis actor named George Zinn who said it was him, but it clearly wasn't him, and he didn't have a gun. And so all the law enforcement, all those sort of people knew whoever had shot him was still there somewhere. Of course, they'd never found him for 33 hours.
In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period.
But it's very clear you had an active shooter, which is the words they always use, at a school, and everyone's just milling around, chatting, no law enforcement, nothing. That was very obvious. And now some scanner leaks have come out that basically Kash Patel's FBI, and Kash Patel just fired the top people in Utah in the FBI like a week or two before. They basically said, don't talk to anyone, don't ask anyone. This is while an active shooter is still wandering around somewhere.
10-4-10. I'm still about 15 out, but the 1-2 unit that's going to be up there to interview, as per FBI and FBI, we've been given clear direction not to interview, confirming negative interview until they get there.
140, we were not going to interview. We are just arriving now.
Copy that.
Building 151. This was relayed by Salt Lake. They're advising a complainant called 911, and he was stating there's an APB out on him for the shooting at UVU. He's now pinging at the Urban Pioneer Cafe at SMDB. Break.
I was just told that the FBI wants you to stand by there with him, and they're on their way to you.
Yet nothing adds up with this, of course. It rarely does. And we've had more time to go over more of the videos and stuff now, and people are starting to notice a lot of interesting things. Like, you've got the CIA guy all smiling, looks like he might shoot him. You got the flash from above, you got the guy with the black glove. You got George Zinn there saying he did it. It's just incredible. But now that we've had more time to look a little closer at the videos, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. Like a lot of the Israeli security that Charlie had. Yeah, that security. Like, many of them, first of all, he gets shot in the neck. You'd think, you know, they'd be trying to take care of him and stuff. If you actually look closely, the first guy, the guy gives the hand signals, doesn't even try to help Charlie. He falls over, like, pretty slowly. But the guy doesn't even care, and he's actually taking photos, it looks like, with his Google glasses or whatever those are. And if you look closely in some of these videos, you see the CIA guy who might have taken the shot. He's actually there, and he's like laughing. A bunch of them are smiling, and then a bunch of them are taking stuff very quickly. This is like within 5 seconds of the shot. Taking stuff, passing it off to another person, like, there's so much of this stuff. Yeah, all just normal stuff. And there's other theories too. Stu Peters has talked quite a bit about how he thinks it might have been the lapel mic, which wouldn't be a surprise. We've seen Israel blow people up with pagers, threaten to blow people up with their cell phones. It was Israeli security. Would it be a surprise if the lapel mic was some sort of a weapon? Not at all. And you actually see this guy in a 1776 hat come up and just put it on Charlie, which is kind of weird. Like, it doesn't look, it just looks strange. And then you can see that it looks like, I'm not saying it is, but it looks like it could be the lapel mic is the actual weapon.
There's been a lot of talk of this exploding mic. Was there something under Charlie Kirk's shirt that actually detonated? And that's why we've seen that little cloud of smoke, and you've seen literally something like an elastic rubber band in his shirt just shoot up and snap back. His necklace also was snapped directly in the front, and the one side went off, blowing off over the left side of his head, or the right side of his head. And then the other spot, what I think was the necklace got shot like a rocket up into his shirt, and that's what you've seen snap back. You also seen something pull back in his shirt, which would make sense if that was the band of the back side of the necklace as it snapped. Some weird shit's going on here. But who was the man who put the mics on Charlie, and at what point were those mics actually placed on Charlie? We have the answers to that. Check out this video. So what I'm actually going to do here for you, because since it's so small, you see Charlie here throwing the hats. I'm going to post this video down in the comments as well so you guys can actually see the zoomed in version. But whatever frame this is or whatever video this is where you actually see Charlie walking in with the hats right there, he's throwing out the hats. You see him right here. But there's a second person that comes into the scene right here. This guy wearing this 1776 hat. And you can see that's the point that Charlie didn't have a mic on before then. And he walks up getting ready to go speak. And there is the man right there. Whoever this man was in the 1778 or 1776 hat, that is somebody that maybe, I don't know, some weird shit happened. If we see the turning point video and there's a device that explodes under Charlie's Kirk's shirt, well, suspect numero uno. And I just want the history books to really remember, every one of these guys would have probably called themselves or called Charlie Kirk a friend. And this is how your friends are treating you. I saw a leftist murder Charlie Kirk and I saw them celebrate it. When? When did we see a leftist murder Charlie Kirk? I really pray that if this turns out to be Israel or foreign intelligence, I want every one of these assholes, literally every single one, tweeting out, I saw Israel assassinate Charlie Kirk. And then I saw the dancing Israelis celebrating it. Because we had dancing Israelis. We had Israelis smiling and talking about it on camera.
Folkens, Charlie Kirk døde, folkens. Folkens, det så kjipt. Hva skjedde med demokratiet?
Well, at least they got Pam Blondie and Cash Patel and Dan Bongino out there. They'll get to the bottom of all this. You know, they'll figure out even like what bullet was lodged in his neck, because it didn't seem to have an exit wound unless that was the exit wound. But he didn't seem to have a wound in the back. So something seemed to be lodged in him, but you know, the FBI, major political assassination sort of a thing. There's no real need to look into it. Don't even need like an autopsy, just like throw him in the truck, and that's the last anyone ever saw of him.
So I did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
Oh, okay. Can you just do a clip documenting that?
I'm sorry, 10-9?
Can you just add a step to the case documenting that there was no autopsy?
287, I'll be clear to the hospital.
I need an officer at Timpanogos Hospital to come stage in the emergency room bay.
Jesse just told me that he just got on the phone and Charlie's wife is coming to Signature and they're bringing a car over here for a treatment.
Charlie's wife is coming to land at Signature, you said?
Sir, and Jesse's going to go to Duncan right now and pick up a car for her.
Okay, I'm a little confused because that's what Corey just said. They said they're landing at Duncan, so I don't know where they're landing, but we will just kind of play it by ear, I guess, best that we can.
So I don't know, if I was Cash Patel, I'd be looking at all this and going, well, it's clearly not that Tyler kid, and clearly we made that up, the FBI made that up. So go find out who made that up. And I've looked at all the different angles, and it could be about 5 or 10 different people, and all of them look pretty legitimate. So, you know, you might want to get an autopsy or something, right? And at least see what bullet was inside of him. No, nothing. Zero. Yeah, well, Jeff, you know, it's pretty cut and dry, case closed situation. No, it wasn't. Not at all. Like, of all the situations I've ever seen, I've looked at it all. I have no idea. Could be a hologram, could have been fake with a blood pack, could have been the CIA guy, could have been the guy behind with the black glove. It could have been from that blacked out window with the vent. There was a flash there. Could have been so many different things, but no, they didn't even like take the bullet out because, well, I don't know why, but it obviously wouldn't be anything that they'd want to tell anyone because it's clearly a government operation. That's the thing that people don't get as well with the Butler thing. A lot of people are like, well, it must have been the Democrats. Okay, watch the Jones plantation, please. You're under mind control. There is no Democrats and Republicans. They're the same thing. I know you've been told that your whole life. That's what mind control is. And so they said with that, well, it couldn't have been a faked assassination because then Trump would have had to be in on it. Yeah, keep going. Who, Donald Trump, the guy with the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Or Donald Trump, who's in the World Wrestling Federation Hall of Fame? And that's the thing that a lot of people still don't get. I see them, and they're like, why isn't Cash looking into this? Because they're all in on it. Maybe, like, Cash probably doesn't know. He's so stupid. Like, the guy is dumb. He's like a cross-eyed, dumb guy from India who was actually set up for this role decades ago. And they just threw him in there, and he's so dumb. He's like George W. Bush. They're probably just like, they sit him down. They're like, yeah, it was that Tyler kid. We got all the evidence. Go. Here's what you got to read. Go read how we found him after 33 hours. They're all just laughing. Like, he might not even know, but they're all, it's the FBI. It's the CIA. They are Mossad. It's the same thing. This is the thing that people still don't get. They didn't do first of all, they didn't do an autopsy, and then they sent him off on a government jet with J.D. Vance, who ended up hosting his show like a few hours later. And if you're wondering, like, don't they have to do an autopsy? Well, yeah, in the U.S., that is very standard procedure.
This is not good, you guys. I am throwing my funeral director flag after police dispatch audio came out and said there was no autopsy performed and that the doctor at the hospital signed the death certificate. I'm going to break this down for you as a funeral director, been in the industry for 15 years. I am not going to talk about specifics. I am not going to talk about conspiracies. I'm just going to give you the facts, and then you can come to your own conclusion after that. All over the internet for 2 weeks now, I've been seeing people say, well, an autopsy was not needed because we saw what happened. That is totally contradictory to the law. Autopsies are required always in the case of homicide, suicide, car accidents, any unexpected, unattended deaths, any deaths of violence. They need this not just to pinpoint the cause of death, but also for legal proceedings. You would still need those facts from the medical examiner in the court of law. Every area is different, but it is pretty consistent across the board that these types of deaths 100% of the time get an autopsy. I have never, ever seen a case like this not receive an autopsy. If you are wondering about the portion where they say the doctor at the hospital provided the cause of death on the death certificate, again, that would not be the case in a situation like this. It would have been the medical examiner after the autopsy was completed. Let's add to that there are contradictory statements now. Some saying there was, some saying there wasn't. It's not for me to decide what's truthful. It's for you to get the facts. And I'm letting you know from a professional that no autopsy is completely abnormal, not done, unacceptable.
And now for something completely different. Here's all the predictive programming stuff around it. And we've seen lots of predictive programming. The X-Files talked about 9/11 before it happened. There was a movie with Samuel L. Jackson about 5 years before 9/11 saying that they were going to do 9/11, they're going to blame it on the Muslims, and it was going to kill about 4,000 people, and that's exactly what happened.
World Trade Center bombing. The diplomat who issued the terrorist visa was CIA.
You're telling me that you're going to fake some terrorist thing just to scare some money out of Congress?
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Hennessy, I have no idea how to fake killing 4,000 people. So we're just going to have to do it for real. Oh, blame it on the Muslims, naturally.
But with 9/11, doing that movie 5 years before isn't out of the realm of possibility, right? They obviously were planning this thing. They actually, if you look back at all their plans, they planned it since the World Trade Center in New York was founded. They actually planned it all. Like these people and these entities are super, like they might be able to actually change time, go back to the future. They might be able to change our reality whenever they want. That's the level of stuff we're talking about here. And that is the only thing that can really explain how there was a movie in like the late 1990s when Charlie Kirk was about 5 years old with Nicolas Cage. And if you look at the movie poster, he's flashing all the Illuminati hand signs, so it's clearly a operation type signal to people. But in the movie, and this is like 1998, so like almost 30 years ago, a guy named Charlie Kirkland gets assassinated, gets shot right in the exact same spot. And the other person in this place they're at is named Tyler the Executioner, same name as the kid. And here's the piece de resistance. The shooting in the actual movie, they say it happens on September 10th, the same date Charlie Kirk gets shot. In this movie, Charlie Kirkland gets shot in the neck right here, while Tyler the Executioner is there on September 10th.
Des décennies qu'ils avaient planifié la mort de Charlie. Regardez Snake Eyes de 98. Il commence par un match de boxe le 10 septembre, même date que l'exécution de Charlie. Le boxeur s'appelle Tyler l'exécuteur, même prénom que le suspect. Et le match est truqué. Un spectateur lui fait un signal pour déclencher l'action. Ce qu'on a vu pendant le discours de Kirk. La cible est touchée à la gorge et elle s'appelle Charles Kirkland. Même prénom et nom de famille. Donc à ce stade, le mot coïncidence, c'est plus une option. Il mentionne aussi une tempête. Et 2 jours avant la mort de Kirk, le magazine Jezebel publie une attaque pour maudire ce misogyne. Le film a été tourné au Trump Taj Mahal. Et dans le script, le financier de l'opération fait référence à Trump. Il possède la reine et fabrique un bouc émissaire terroriste pour se couvrir. Qui hypnotise la foule pour annoncer la nouvelle. Qui transforme les funérailles en rallye MAGA. Le sacrifice devient une renaissance politique. Pour pousser des nouvelles lois anti-crime avec l'IA.
Law enforcement can only be the beginning of our response to Charlie's murder by pioneering an AI verification system.
Et tout ça dans un stade en forme de serpent, comme le titre Snake Eyes, avec le slogan « Croyez tout sauf vos yeux ». C'est ironique, non? Quand on voit Trump et Musk faire le même signe de main maçonnique que sur l'affiche.
Hello? What? Who are you? Where? My lucky number. What?
Here's something interesting too. If you go to Wikipedia to Snake Eyes the movie, it used to say that that event happened in the movie on September 10th, and someone changed it right after people started noticing this to September 19th. But in the movie itself, you can see it's September 10th. So they're trying to cover up their predictive programming now, which is just incredible. But how do you explain a movie made 30 years ago has Charlie Kirkland getting shot with Tyler the Executioner there on September 10th, right in the exact same spot? I actually don't have any explanations for you other than this reality is not what you think it is. This is all being created basically just for you. And it's got incredible, incredible things in it. And the bad guys in this 3D video game that we're currently playing can change the future, the past. They can like use magic and stuff to do all these things. This is all actually basically the case. Like if you think everything in this world is exactly what it seems, you have a rude awakening coming to you. None of it's real, none of it, including you. But it's not necessarily a rude awakening. It actually can be the most empowering and most amazing and incredible realization you can ever have when you realize what this all is and who you really are. But anyway, we should get back to the Matrix. What's going on in the Matrix here? It's also interesting, at the end of that Snake Eyes movie, it kind of focuses in on a police car with the number 47. Now, I'm surprised it wasn't 33, but 47 was what was right in front of Charlie Kirk. They had it 3 times. 4 and 7 equals 11, 33. I know you can't understand how this is being done. I don't even know. But you have to start to realize that it is being done. And once you realize it, it's actually pretty amazing. It's pretty incredible. And then they go and have their funeral, which, by the way, that was like an 8-hour-long sort of like CPAC or whatever. It was like Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, the Department of War was there. They're all doing their campaign talks and everything. If you actually go online and you look up, was there actually a real funeral for Charlie Kirk? Because no one's seen him since that moment. And you can't find anything. I actually even asked AI, and AI's like, no. Some people say there was something, but there's no evidence. And you know these people. Do you think Erica Kirk and these sort of people are going to miss a chance to have an Instagram post at the actual funeral? So there's no evidence, zero, that there was a funeral. There's no evidence that he's been buried anywhere. He sold his house in Phoenix like 6 months ago. I don't know where he is, but he could be in Valhalla, which might be Antarctica, by the way. But they had the event at a place called State Farm Stadium, which is shaped like a snake, which is kind of interesting when you think about how this is all predictively programmed in Snake Eyes.
The year of the snake, Snake Eyes, and Charlie Kirk's memorial gets held at State Farm Arena in Arizona, home of the Diamondbacks, and the whole arena is in the shape of a coiling snake?
And like I said, it's at State Farm Stadium, real life animal farm, cattle slaughterhouse, the State Farm, you're all cattle. And so much stuff's getting scrubbed. The Dairy Queen got scrubbed, the actual location's been scrubbed. All the CIA professors at Utah Valley State or whatever it's called got scrubbed. And then if you try to look into Charlie Kirk's dad, who worked for Donald Trump, like what are the odds of all this stuff, okay? That's all been scrubbed now too. They scrubbed Charlie Kirk's dad from Wikipedia. Robert W. Kirk, who was an architect on the Trump Tower. Weird. Yeah, and there's what I said. Charlie sold his home in Scottsdale about 8 months ago for $5 million. The guy was like a billionaire, which is a whole other story, by the way. The guy basically went to college campuses, had a lawn chair and a tent and a microphone. And he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Obviously, he was supported by essentially Israel and those sort of people. Which is kind of interesting that he sold his house 8 months ago. Didn't really mention that. But there's even more bizarre information out there. Like, for example, all the patriots and the Q-tards are all like, yes, Donald Trump finally arrested somebody. And they arrested a guy named Comey, who was like the ex-FBI director or something. Or indicted him or something like that. But here's something interesting. The lawyer who's indicted him, the widely unqualified lawyer Trump just named to prosecute his enemies, Lindsay Halligan, the new U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, has no experience as a prosecutor. What does she have experience at? She was in Donald Trump's beauty pageants. Jessica Hartman of Pueblo won Miss Colorado USA 2010. As Miss Colorado USA, Jessica Hartman won thousands of dollars in scholarship money. Runners-up in the Miss Colorado USA pageant were Erica Francie, which is her old name. So there was 2 women in this beauty pageant. One of them went on to be like the top attorney general in the world. And the other one now runs like $1 billion media empire. And they all worked for Trump. Starting to see yet that all these people are involved in various networks and groups, or clubs, you could say.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
So just to recap, no blood anywhere, no LEO control of site scrubbed in minutes, no Charlie face, no county coroner report, no autopsy, no hospital statement, no hospital witnesses, no hospital footage, and all info from the same government that just spent the last 4 years lying to get millions injected with a military bioweapon. Welcome to my husband's memorial. Yeah, I didn't know anything at all about Erica Kirk before about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. Maybe around the time the shooting happened, I might have saw her name or something. Didn't know anything about her. Found out a lot about her since. First of all, here she is at the Wailing Wall, of course. She was in beauty pageants, she was an actress, she was in music videos, a lot of them owned by Trump or Trump casting agencies and stuff. And she was in a music video, and here's another weird one. 13 years ago, she was in like this horrible country song. It's horrible. And the chorus is, she's my kind of crazy, my kind of dangerous. And it's her, Erica Kirk. And she actually, first of all, she points at Mandalay Bay, which is where one of the major operations that's happened in the last 5 years happened, where they killed like 500 people with just one guy who went up to the roof with like 100 guns or something. Of course, that was looked into right away and whitewashed completely. So she points at Mandalay Bay, and this happened right before that happened, obviously. And then she zip lines past the numbers 910.
My baby's my kind of crazy. $1 million smile in a $500 car. She talks to Jesus every morning before it starts. Hates the way it drives.
Here's some more interesting stuff about that music video. Of course, she zip lines past 9/10, which is the date that Charlie Kirk was shot. The video length is 3:22, which is Skull and Bones. She actually wrote a post saying she had a blast shooting with Tyler. Of course, they've got Tyler Robinson as the shooter on this one. And she has like a mind control butterfly-looking tattoo on her. And as I mentioned in my last video, she also seemed to be involved in orphanages in Romania, which is kind of random, isn't it? But she was. And then there was this big scandal in Romania. A lot of children apparently, maybe, I don't know, I didn't look into it, might have been missing and stuff. There was allegations of child sex trafficking, organ trafficking. Of course, she just finished working with Donald Trump's beauty pageant, which probably means she was involved with Jeffrey Epstein as well. Then all of a sudden she's in Romania with a thing called Romanian Angels, which gets kicked out of the country, which I found interesting because you also have the controlled opposition Tate brothers, who say all the time that they do human trafficking, sex trafficking, all this kind of stuff. That's how they made $1 billion and stuff. They're all proud of it. They never seem to get in any trouble. They do some court things that are all like 1,000 media there, and then they just get out and flash their hand signs and stuff. But I found it interesting that Erica Kirk had a thing called Romanian Angels, and it was alleged to be involved in child sex trafficking because the Tates also live in Romania. Very interesting. And they also have the Tates Angels. Tates Angels refers to a duo of women, Georgiana Nagel and Luana Radu, who were arrested alongside controversial influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan in December 2022 in Romania. They're described in media and court documents as Tate's trusted lieutenants or angels, allegedly playing key roles in an organized crime network accused of human trafficking, rape, and coercion of women into producing pornography. That's an interesting coincidence. Both Erica Kirk and the Tates are both basically accused of doing sex trafficking stuff in Romania, of all places. Like, of all places. What are the odds of that? I guess pretty good, actually. But as I've been saying, so many of these people, they're all just actors. All of them. They're basically actors. That's basically what all of these people are. And aside from being in that music video and running a child sex trafficking ring in Romania, Erica Kirk was also on a show called Summer House.
So how do you two ladies know each other?
We were in Miss USA together.
Oh, cool.
So she was Arizona and I was Miss North Carolina.
Okay. I want to meet somebody with the same beliefs. I'm like a really big Christian. I'm like...
So you wouldn't meet him at church or anything?
It's tough because like I watch it online.
I don't think I've ever met anybody that's like, hey, I'm going to go to church on Sunday.
I go to 2 different churches. It's tough to be a believer in the city.
Yeah.
I think you're a bright light in a very dark place.
So let's go grab a mojito. Yeah. We'll go grab a drink.
Oh, fine. Chopped liver.
That's interesting. All these people seem to have pasts like that. All actors like Trump. And, but as you can clearly see, this Charlie Kirk shooting is cut and dry. It was a guy named Tyler Robinson, and that's it. A case closed, right? And there's a lot of people who think that. But there's a lot of people who don't, and that's a great thing. I've actually seen more people than ever, because the story is impossible. The story is the craziest conspiracy theory I've ever heard. The government is the craziest conspiracy theorists around, because all their theories are impossible. All the ones I talk about are like factual. You can actually look into it. But it's incredible for those that, like, so many have just kind of moved on from it. It's like, well, Kash Patel looked into it. I guess it was that Tyler Robinson kid. It's amazing how they flipped it. 2021, shut up and don't ask questions. 2025, shut up and don't ask questions. There's a few good things about AI, and one of them is you actually get decent news reporting now from AI.
Good morning. Ongoing investigation on the active shooter leads us to a trans-liberal with a Republican dad.
That'll create some division. We go live to the trusted FBI for more.
Get in, Tyler.
Yeah.
We're taking you to Dairy Queen. Great job, kid.
Okay, from now on, you just do what we say. Now go get your Dairy Queen. It still hasn't been 33 hours.
As we wait for the 33 hours, the FBI is hard at work coming up with a solid script to present to the public. How do we get away with this?
I got it. Let's just ask ChatGPT to generate us a story of young gay lovers from the 20s.
Genius.
When you're talking about things like going out to a crime scene, that's how you investigate that matter properly. And when you're talking about why did it take 33 hours, all of that is being triaged by the FBI because that's what we do.
We trusted you with the Epstein files. We definitely can trust you with this.
Right. Trust your government. Noticing is antiseptic, right, John?
That's right. I think we might have found our suspect texting his furry lover. We're just waiting for him to confess.
Ugh, fine, but nobody my age sounds like that.
Shut up, Tyler, and send it.
Good thing they're rigorously pushing for a confession. It's like, let's get this over with, right?
Conspiracy theorists will believe anything these days, and this just in, we have footage of Tyler on the roof. Okay, here he is after disassembling the rifle to fit it in his pants, and now he doesn't have a shadow. Shapiro Steen, explain what we're seeing here.
Just because his shadow disappeared and our donors offered $1.5 million to find the killer doesn't mean we did it, but yes, he questioned too much. That's why we got rid of him.
We'll just say he reassembled it.
33 hours, 2 hours after the video footage was enhanced and released, and the suspect's father turned him in.
Seems like they could just show the actual footage of him taking the shot instead of that edited video, and all these conspiracy theories go away. Do they think we're retarded or something?
Hell yeah, Ching Chong, that's based. I mean, at least show the video of the lavalier exploding or the Israeli Schaefer security company retrieving the weapon.
Shut it down, John. Let's not forget what happened to Jackie when she noticed. Now, make the dad MAGA and have him call it in now.
Are you ready to confess?
He admitted it, okay? Now, when do I get the $1.5 million?
Well, hope he gets his ransom money, right?
Well, it's officially been 33 hours.
Oh, how exciting.
Let's hear Kash thank the Viking pagan gods.
Charlie would love that.
To my friend Charlie Kirk. Rest now, brother. We have the watch. And I'll see you in Valhalla.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
Forgive Tyler, for we know it was him, and there's nothing more to see here.
But getting back to Turning Point, I didn't know much about it. To me, it was like a weird meme online. I'd see that Charlie Kirk guy's face. He'd be sitting in a tent with a lawn chair. And he'd be like, you know, debating people. And that was basically all I ever saw of it, except for I would actually listen sometimes, and he'd be like, well, Israel's our greatest ally, and we got to support Israel. And right then I was like, block, don't need to see any more of this. It turned out, as we know now, he actually was changing massively on that. He came out so much, I've seen much more on it now. In the last few months, he's been saying October 7th was a false flag by Israel. He demanded that the Epstein files be released. He has talked about the genocide in Gaza as being really evil. And he also has been against the U.S. attacking Iran. And that, still to this day, is why I think he's dead. And it's incredible how they do it. But I never looked into this turning point thing too much. To me, it was like nothing. It was like, to me, it might as well have been a camcorder, like a camera, and a guy with a lawn chair. That was the whole thing that I saw. Maybe there's more to it than that, but that's all I ever saw. But if you go look at it, it has $85 million worth of revenues. It also has $81 million worth of expenses. Well, both of those are interesting. Where are these revenues coming from? It's not a business that sells much. Maybe they sell t-shirts, which I know they just sold a ton, but that's part of the operation. But before that, I can't imagine they were selling $80 million worth of t-shirts. So where was this revenue coming from? Well, we actually know. It was mostly from Jewish billionaire backers who cut off his funding just like a week before he apparently died. So that part's pretty obvious. What isn't so obvious is where are all these expenses? $81 million worth of expenses? Like, okay, there's some travel. He had a security team. He had a group, cameramen. I could see, millions in expenses over the years. $81 million worth of expenses. He's mostly sitting in a chair with one microphone and one mic that might have killed him. It's incredible. And here's something interesting too. Did you know the Charlie Kirk show started both 6 years and 66 days, or as well 322 weeks, skull and bones, before Charlie's death? You see, all this stuff, this can't be all coincidence. I think, basically, this is your Truman Show. Here's what I think. None of this is really real. You're basically in a 3D video game, and your character is supposed to figure out what's going on and go on a hero's journey and figure it all out, do the work physically, mentally, and spiritually to get outside of the Matrix. And that's a big part of this video game. Are you doing that? Because if not, you're kind of wasted. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. That's what you're here to do. And because of that, all of these things, this is all part of the video game. That's basically what I think. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but until you've meditated for years, hours per day, sometimes 5-6 hours a day, you probably have no clue what's actually going on. You're actually mostly programmed. I don't mean to say that in a bad way. I'm not saying that to you because I want to make fun of you or I hate you or anything. I'm telling you because you can actually do that work and actually break out of the Matrix. And that's the kind of stuff I'm doing. And that's the real fun stuff. And it's so awesome, by the way. But here's something else interesting. So Charlie Kirk dead. Within like an hour, 1 hour after Charlie Kirk was announced dead, all of a sudden this kid was being promoted by mainstream media. Here he is. His name's Brillin Hollyhands, which is kind of interesting. I'll get into that a little bit later. And 1 hour after Charlie Kirk was dead, he's on Fox News. And Charlie Kirk was like his mentor. He was like, he helped him his whole life. He looked up to him. And he found out he was dead an hour earlier. And just like Erica Kirk, no tears. In fact, just a huge smile.
It's also an incredible story that you share with us really quickly, Brillin, about fourth grade, a podcast. That's incredible. And Charlie Kirk appears on your podcast. Tell me about the role he played for you as a mentor.
Yeah, again, it's somebody that didn't have to do that. He was on Fox News every other hour that year. He didn't have to make time for me as an 11-year-old with this upcoming podcast in the fourth grade to come on and join me, but he did. And not only was it a one-time thing, I've interviewed hundreds of people that I've never talked to again. He stayed a mentor, and he texted me up until this week when I was on another Fox show congratulating me. Like, he didn't have to do that. He could have viewed me as competition. He could have said, oh, I'm not going to give this kid time, but he did. And what I think the larger theme here is the less left loves to preach tolerance. They love to preach tolerance. And in situations like this, that's the last thing we're seeing. The media coverage on the other side of the aisle is not like this. I was just scrolling through channels. And obviously the person that took this live, this is heartbreaking, Will. And I really hope, if anything, that people get off the sidelines. This weekend, I'm going to a youth rally in South Carolina. And you better believe that I've already had my team shoot me text saying, Brian, you really need to caution this. You really need to think about not standing in the middle of a park and speak to the next generation. But I am more energized than ever to carry on this torch, to carry on this legacy, because that's what Charlie would have wanted. He would have wanted us to continue to fight the good fight, just like he did.
No doubt, Brylan. No doubt. Thank you so much.
Yeah, 19-year-old Brillin Hollyhand, very normal name, just kicked off his TP USA partner 10-stop campus tour to a sold-out auditorium in honor of Charlie Kirk. Didn't waste much time, did he? Here he is. University of Arkansas, we're on the way now to kick off my 10-stop campus tour. And he's on his private plane. This kid's like super rich.
What's up, America? Brian Hollyhand here, about 30,000 feet up. We are on the way to Arkansas. So everybody in line at the University of Arkansas to kick off my 10-stop campus tour. We are coming to you right here, right now. Stay in line.
I think he's like 17. He's like a billionaire or something. His name is Brillin Hollyhands. And he's promoted by the mainstream media, much like Greta Thunberg, just like immediately plopped out there. It's like, this is the new Charlie Kirk. So this is apparently who they want to replace Charlie Kirk. So maybe we should look into him, right? So I was like, Hollyhand? What kind of last name is Hollyhand? I've never known anyone who had a last name Hollyhand. I know there's Hollywood, so I looked up Hollywood. The Hollywood myth. According to this theory, the name wasn't a coincidence. When Hollywood was developed as a suburb in the late 1800s, its founders, or shadowy influencers, mostly Jews, chose it because holly trees were sacred in Celtic and Druidic traditions. Holly was believed to channel spiritual energy, and wands made from it were tools for spells, divination, and communing with spirits. That's interesting, and his name's Brillin, what kind of name is Brillin? Hollyhand. Oh, and here he is with Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Candace, who just came out and said she's one of the Masons at Turning Point USA.
I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA.
Here they are again when looks like he's like 8 years old. They all knew each other. And then within a day or so, he wrote this, pinching myself that this is even real life. I listen to Ben Shapiro's show daily, the Mossad agent. And somehow I made it on today's episode. Gee, how'd that happen? So Ben Shapiro had Charlie Kirk on. It was the last interview before he died. And he said, excuse me, what did you say, while raising his giant, creepy eyebrows? And then he immediately has on Brillin Hollyhand. Attaboy. Let's see what Brillin's been writing. Peace through strength. America must stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. Democrats are anti-Israel. Republicans proudly stand with Israel. Okay, I see what's going on here. Here's some of his Substack posts. Stop blaming the deep state. Start delivering results. Get out and vote, everyone. Wow, this guy is like just like AI CIA. I'm 19 and draft eligible. Here's why the pinpoint strike on Iran was the right move. Okay, he's not 17, he's like 19. Looks like he's 12. He's also gay, by the way. What a surprise. Here he is. I stand with Israel forever and always, with a beautiful photo. Yeah, that's such a beautiful photo. You should actually show what they're actually doing in your photo. Oh, and he's already been with all the top political controlled opposition people, like the governor of Texas, who's actually said you must support Israel. And here they are doing the devil hand signs, of course. And what a surprise, he was at the Wailing Wall. Reminds me of the Cracker Barrel thing. Cracker Barrel? Old country store? That was Charlie Kirk. He was starting to wake up. Replaced by very modern and very plastic Cracker Barrel. Gay billionaire kid. I think they're making these clones in a lab.
Sir, it's ready. He will be our greatest ally in our fight to control the narrative.
When I first saw this Brillin Hollyhand guy, I was like, I thought that's the Demorat kid. But no, they're supposedly two separate people. Hang on a sec. Hey, Fluffy. Are you filling in for apples? I guess she's trying to fill in for apples. Thank you. Don't worry, Apples is at the spa. She's coming right back. Anyway, yeah, this brilliant Hollyhan guy, I thought that was that Jenner Rat kid, but they're two different people apparently, but they probably made in the same clone factory. Philip says, I'm no fan of Brilliant Hollyhan, but comparing him to Harry Sisson is disrespectful and uncalled for. Harry Sisson is nowhere near as homosexual or effeminate as Brilliant. They look almost exactly the same. It's incredible. Then I saw someone post this. Stunned silence turned into frantic whispers at ABC headquarters when the numbers came in. The Charlie Kirk show had done the unthinkable, pulling in over 1 billion views in just days. Executives who expected a bold debut but nothing earth-shattering suddenly found themselves staring at statistics so massive that some questioned whether they were even real. Behind the closed doors of the network's glass towers, panic reportedly spread because with numbers this big becomes a dangerous question. Who actually controls the future of television now? Well, it's J.D. Vance, Ben Shapiro, Erica Kirk, who's as deep state as it gets, and Brilliant Hollyhand. I miss Muammar Gaddafi. I think Americans are good, but America will be taken over and destroyed from the inside by the Zionist lobby. The Americans do not see this. They're getting decadent. Zionists will use this to destroy them. Gaddafi warned of America's collapse in 1986. Today it plays out like a script.
We came, we saw, he died.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Netanyahu's on his 4th visit in the last 6 months to the White House as we speak. The two genocidal war criminals are both nominating each other for the Nobel Peace Prize while they conduct the most heinous genocide ever. Which brings me to a bit of an atota, so you could say, when I saw someone posted this. Matt Glantz posted, Trump was right about everything. Ukraine war over, day 1. Gaza solved. Gas and grocery inflation fixed. Epstein files released. Balanced budget. Fed debt down. $5,000 DOGE checks for every American. China trade deficit gone. Mexico paid for the wall. Obamacare gone. Hillary jailed. I don't even need to do an atoto for all those things. But I told so.
I told us so. A fucking atoto.
You know, I'm going to start covering the markets a bit more now. I've been covering the COVIDs for 4 years. I've been covering the October 7th Israel operation for a couple years. I've now been covering the Charlie Kirk operation for about a month. But I think we're getting very close to the collapse of basically everything. The economy, the financial markets, everything. And that, if you didn't know, if you've watched me for like 5 years, like, oh, you actually do a financial newsletter? Yeah, we do. It's called the Dollar Vigilante. It's actually awesome. We recommended Bitcoin at $3 and Ethereum at $2, just FYI. We're also heavily into gold and gold stocks. I don't know if you've noticed, gold at all-time highs, about to hit 4,000. Gold stocks are one of the best performing things this year. That's our newsletter, dollarvigilante.com/subscribe. You might want to go. We haven't really updated that dollarvigilante.com/subscribe page for years. But I'm going to get around to that because, like I said, I think I'm going to start covering that because I think that's the next big thing that's going to happen. I think it's going to happen very soon, probably in the next month or two. And especially when you look around at all the numbers and stuff. Like, for example, Wall Street Ape said, I just looked this up and it's true. Healthcare premiums for Americans making over $80,000 per year are set to triple beginning of the year. This would make the average cost about $20,000 per year just for premiums.
Do you have healthcare? I don't have healthcare. They're saying the healthcare prices are about to triple. For an $80,000 salary for a couple, right under $20,000 is going to be the new cost for a year. Divide that by 12. They're saying the prices are tripling and going up because just like me, you guys are also canceling healthcare. We've learned through the last 18 months, it's cheaper to just pay cash prices. And if you have healthcare, they don't allow you to pay cash prices. So for the small percentage of people who are still insured, the insurance companies have to raise the prices Because at the end of the day, it's profit over people.
$20,000 per year just for health insurance that they usually give you a whole bunch of, it rarely even works, actually. $20,000 per year. I don't know if that's per family or per person. I hope it's per family. But even that's a massive amount. It's just incredible. It's amazing, like, each country kind of does its own thing. Like in Britain, I need stitches. Your appointment is in 43 months, sir. In the US, I need stitches. Your bill will be $67,000. In Canada, I need stitches. Have you considered dying, eh? $20,000 per year for health insurance for the rest of your life. So like you're talking millions of dollars just in case you have to go to the hospital, which you should never go to the hospital. And we have plasma. Plasma's back. No one's talking about it. I tried to tell people about it on YouTube, but they deleted us again. So we're basically on BitChute, Rumble, and Vigilante.tv. Got a few thousand views. I've been telling everyone about it for like a year. It cures basically everything. Forget about health insurance, really. Like, you might want to get maybe like a catastrophic event, like a major car accident type insurance, for something like that, right? But anything else, any of those other diseases are basically curable for the most part with plasma, and they don't want anyone to know about it. That's probably why they took down my last video, because we did talk about the Tesla machine and plasma on that video. Because I don't think they took it down because I was talking about going into the sauna to sweat out toxins. No, they don't want you to know this information. So if you've stumbled upon this video somehow, you're incredibly lucky. Like, here's some of the people who have the Tesla machine. They're in a thing called the Tesla Club. Like Ethan. I'm 58. For many years, I've had pretty physical jobs. About 7 years ago, my right shoulder started giving me problems. I babied it as much as I could, but it just wouldn't get it better. I've seen several coworkers over the years get shoulder operations for this. The result was usually lost range of motion. Some never came back to work from it, so I knew I wanted to avoid any surgery if I could. I just dealt with the pain. Workouts that involved my shoulder weren't really possible without aggravating the problem. I got my Tesla machine about a month ago and decided to put it to the test straight away. Started doing push-ups, something I couldn't do for the last 7 years because it invariably caused too much shoulder pain. Yesterday, while walking my dog, I did, I think, about 250 push-ups. I kind of lost track. Just kept stopping and knocking out sets of 34 to 40 reps. Even using the same bad shoulder to throw a stick for my dog. Certainly glad to have the Tesla. Probably at the very least saved me a shoulder operation. And here's Leviathan. I've treated my 91-year-old mother's arthritic shoulder with the Tesla and over a 1 per week, sometimes 2 per week, 30-minute treatment course of 2 months. Her arthritic pain is gone and hasn't returned. The pain was quite severe at times. Yeah, that is very normal. Stu Peters was actually at my house right here in Acapulco, and he said he hadn't worked out for years on his shoulder because it was too painful. And he actually had a friend who had a lifelong shoulder pain that was the same. He couldn't even do shoulder exercises in the gym. They both did 20 minutes on the Tesla machine, and both of them have never had that pain come back, and they've been perfectly fine ever since. Like, no pain. Zero. Yeah, if you want more info, go to tesla.club, tzla.club. If you sign up, get the email, do the questionnaire, you'll actually go into this open house on Telegram. You can ask any questions you want, talk to people who have the machine. But it's pretty incredible. They're trying to kill everyone. Everyone's super sick from all the stuff they're doing. Their health insurance is going to be like tripling in the next year. Most people are going to go bankrupt just from that alone. And their insurance premiums are going to $20,000 per year, just FYI, for a machine that basically cures everything. Of course, it doesn't necessarily cure everything, not instantly, all that kind of disclaimers. But we've seen, go to their site, there's hundreds of people who have cured almost everything with it. Sometimes within an hour, sometimes within a week, sometimes within a month or 2. But almost always cures them. So people are going to be paying $20,000 per year for the health insurance when you can get a machine and the total cost is $11,000. And there's like no taxes or tariffs on it because it's actually a free gift when you join a science club, and it ships anywhere in the world. You might want to check it out. I actually think it's going to be super important to survive this apocalypse. Of course, you can survive it without it, but it's a huge, if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend it. Like, I feel amazing. I've actually been de-aging. I've talked about this before. My metabolic age is 30 years old. My energetic age, my energy in my cells is of a 10-year-old. And I just noticed today, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of like bright out. You might not be able to tell. I seem to be getting all kinds of color back in my hair. It seems like my beard, it used to be all white, almost all white. Literally, there were some black patches, but I looked today, I'm like, this whole area is not white anymore. And then I looked here and like there's like brown coming in all around. So I think I'm like reversing the gray hair. It's incredible. It's so incredible. There's so many incredible things going on. But if you just stay stuck in the matrix, and especially if you get all trapped in the matrix, everything looks horrible. But it's actually super awesome. Like, none of this stuff affects me. I don't care about Charlie Kirk. I don't care what happened. I don't care what Israel does. Now, of course, you know, if they come here and try to kill me, I'll deal with it. But until then, it doesn't really affect me too much. I'm not even going to cover all the latest false flags. There was obviously one on an ICE facility, and this one was hilarious. Here's Kash Patel talking all about it. And here's the evidence of the guy. Of course, they all write on their bullets now. And, you know, if you're like an anti-ICE person, you're against ICE, what are you going to write on the ICE bullet, on the bullet? Anti-ICE, of course. Yeah, that's like a CIA guy, probably. And then there's the church one. I haven't looked into it, but a couple of American flags and Iraqi license plates. Okay. Burnt down the whole church. Okay. Meanwhile, on X, you have other Mossad agents predictively programming us for the next operation, which is definitely going to happen. And that's why I want to cover the markets a lot more now, by the way. I think we're going to have this massive market collapse soon, in the next few months. We're actually going to reopen the Vigilante Insiders Club, which is our exclusive club where you get real time. You actually are in a room, like a chat group with me and all of our team. We got about 10, 20 different people in there. All of our analysts, crypto analysts, gold analysts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're going to be reopening it probably in the next week or two. So stay tuned for that. You can even go to dollarvigilante.com/Vic and put your name on the mailing list so you make sure you don't miss it. But like I said, I'm going to talk a lot more about that stuff. I'm going to lay off all this looking into all these operations and stuff. But I do think they are going to do some major operations, and it's actually going to cause the market collapse. And you can actually make fortunes as this happens instead of losing everything like everyone else. And we'll be talking about that. We talk about that in the newsletter as well. If you don't want to wait, and you shouldn't, go to dollarvigilante.com/subscribe. $15 a month is basically our basic newsletter. And you can get all up to date on everything going on. I write in there like, I don't know, 30 to 50 pages a month in our newsletter. But I did see this from Laura Loomer, who's a Mossad agent. There's a power outage at Grand Central Station in New York City right now. This comes after 911 fiber cables were cut in Mississippi and Louisiana today, and fiber cables at the Dallas airport were also disrupted on Friday. Are bad foreign actors from China, Qatar, Russia, Iran, or Islamic terrorists from Al-Qaeda trying to do a dry run and sabotaging our electrical grid? She's missing one country on there who's actually doing all of it. And I've talked a lot about it, and actually Satan Klaus has talked about this. He's warned for years, the next big thing after the COVID is going to be a cyber attack.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack.
And here's the mainstream media, which is CIA. They had a FBI guy on who's Mossad. A former FBI agent warns that Al-Qaeda, now led by Osama bin Laden's son, they're bringing Osama bin Laden back, is plotting imminent terrorist attacks in Miami and Houston.
We know, was it 2021, Hamza bin Laden, one of the sons of Osama bin Laden, became the military commander, and then about a year later became the emir of Al-Qaeda. And him and his brothers, Saad and Uthman and Abdullah, are all in on the U.S. plot, which is Al-Qaeda is targeting soft targets, specifically hospitals, medical centers, and other things like that. The intelligence is they've got police uniforms, utility uniforms, fire and rescue uniforms, because the intent is to have first the primary attacks on whatever soft target, including hospitals, and then secondary attacks. But the key is if they attack the hospitals, and then are simultaneously doing other soft targets, there won't be anywhere in those cities to take the wounded people. And since we know they have over 1,000 soldiers here, at least, and I'm just talking Al-Qaeda, I'm not talking about all the Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, Hezbollah, Iranian IRGC forces, just the Al-Qaeda soldiers just for this operation.
All right, when is this operation supposed to, what kind of a time frame are you?
Imminent.
Al-Qaeda is the CIA. Anyone with a brain knows that now. And you got the Mossad agent Laura Loomer saying there's going to be some sort of a blackout or something. And then they're on the mainstream CIA media with their FBI guys, which are all CIA, FBI, Mossad, same people, all in the same club, all in the Sabbatean death cult, all warning us about this coming attack. I wouldn't doubt if it happens. And that's why I want to make sure we launch the Vigilante Insider Club, or reopen it again very soon to let people in. Because when this happens, it's going to be so insane, but there's going to be so many opportunities. There's also going to be so many ways to make sure you don't lose during all this. Most people are going to lose everything in the next year or two. Make sure you sign up to our newsletter, dollarvigilante.com/subscribe. I saw this image. I thought it was pretty good. The 3 branches of government in 2025: Israel, AI surveillance companies, and pedophiles. Yeah, I'd just add the intelligence agencies is a big one with the AI surveillance. And that's basically all it is. It all is. And they're all destroying everything. They're all going to try to make you completely broke, to try to kill you. And yes, that's basically what the US government is trying to do, and most governments. That is what they're trying to do. And I said earlier, there's a few things I'm looking forward to this fall. One is the massive financial market crash, which we're probably going to massively profit from. I read all about it in our newsletter. But also hockey season starting. I'm still like hockey a little bit. But the other big thing I said is I couldn't wait to see Peter Thiel's Antichrist presentation. It's a 4-part lecture for like 8 hours a day for like $800. And I was like, this is going to be so incredible to see him try to explain that he's not the Antichrist, because the guy can barely talk. But man, they did such a good job. Overview of Peter Thiel's Antichrist lecture series. Peter Thiel, the billionaire tech investor and co-founder of PayPal and Palantir, delivered a 4-part lecture series titled The Antichrist in San Francisco, organized by the nonprofit Acts. The series ran on September 15th, 22nd, 29th, and October 6th, so it's almost over. Each event included a lecture, followed by Q&A sessions and networking with drinks. Tickets were $800. But here's the part that sucks. Limited capacity at the Commonwealth Club, and attendees were explicitly warned that the talks were off the record, meaning no recording, note-taking for public sharing, or media access was allowed. And I actually asked AI, is there any video of this? I've got to get it. No official video of the full lectures exist or is publicly available. Are you kidding me? There's not one guy who didn't have those like Google glasses who recorded it. Like, please, it's one of my biggest wishes is to see any of the things he said there. Because the guy literally can't talk, and he's going to talk for hours about how he's not the Antichrist.
Look, I'm not, without going into all the I'm not on top of all the details of what's going on in Israel because my bias is to defer to Israel.
Anyway, I've talked long enough. Apple still isn't back from the spa, so we'll wait till she gets back. Also, I think my 2-year-old, who's almost a 3-year-old now, is almost done his siesta. So we'll finish. I'll wait till they get back, and we'll finish up with a few seconds from them, and we'll leave it there for now. Well, there you are, Apples. You're getting back from the spa. You got everyone, all the packs here. Oh, you're looking better. Oh, Rangos, you look guapo. Oh, yeah, thanks. You had a nice day at the spa. I put on a lot of weight while you're gone. Feeling a lot better now. Let's go check out what's going on. What did I miss? I missed the video? I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I'll get you on the next one. I'm feeling a lot better. Feel nice and pretty now. Oh, it's good to be back. I missed everybody. Missed everybody. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Sorry about that. I was gone all day at the spa. Feels pretty good.